irrelevant. I foresee that it'll probably cause a slight crash for a moment, but that crash will enable people, consumers first of all, to come back to, hey, I'm going to look for products and things that I actually enjoy, not just as, let's say, mental popcorn that you just consume and just, dispose of after, that you just put aside, but a game that I'll actually spend 10 hours a day on because I'm invested in it. I care about the characters and the story. Playing it makes me think of the development, and oh look, there's a cool part that I can see in my book was made by that guy, etc. It becomes more of what games originally started out as. Well, okay, really early on they were just a test of hardware and seeing what they could do with software, but when games became games like we know them today, they were an art form and an entertainment form, and that first part has been direly lacking in my opinion, and I think that sentiment is growing, even subconsciously, in even people who are a fan of pure entertainment games that are just made to basically give a return to investment and follow a set formula. It'll create, I think, a lot more small companies or smaller companies that put out higher quality, more fun stuff, basically better stuff, things that are really enjoyable on a profound level rather than just as a quick diversion from everyday life.
I got to jump in because sorry if I'm cutting you off. I'm kind of excited at what you said because I was
done. I just tried to pack it in as compact as I could, and I sucked at it, but that's okay.
No, it was great. It was great. First of all, so you may laugh at this. In 2007, I did a talk called "A One Console Future,"
right?
Where I talked about the technology is continuing to increase, but the perceptual threshold of the average consumer of these changes is getting smaller and smaller. It's actually inversely proportional. So
right.
If you look at the difference between the N64, the SNES, and then the N64, it was like from 2D to 3D, and people were like, "Wow!" And then I
remember being a kid then and how big a deal it was.
Oh yeah, it was huge. And I remember the first Mario game where the spider was on the ceiling, the spider boss, and you're like, "Oh my God, that's going to be incredible!" And then we went from the N64, which was a cartridge-based system, to the GameCube, which was a bigger leap in technology, but it was, people were like, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then, and so I think that trend is continuing. So the more and more, the more that technology increases, the less people are caring about it, because, I think you said it earlier, all these new, if we're going to do really cool looking hair, and we're going to...
Oh no!
Wow!
Oh.
G Plus is failing us.
G Plus is failing us.
I can't invite him back. I don't have him on my list.
Aaron, can you invite him back? I'm so sorry.
Wow.
G Plus is failing us. Maybe we should jump to Skype. Maybe G Plus is just being stupid at the moment. We could jump to Skype if you guys want.
Could work. Let's first see about getting.
I think it's dropping us because some of us have not used G Plus, or very rarely, and we didn't click the "I'm still here" button.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's what it was, because I had clicked mine a while ago.
A while back, when I was quiet for a bit before I went on my big little thing, I went to the bathroom.
It may have been
quick,
going
so
off.
it probably blipped out then, and I didn't see it.
Sorry, guys. He's probably still talking right now. Oh, I feel terrible.
Yeah, basically what Super Fluffy Kitty in chat said.
Okay, good.
G Plus decides when you stop talking. Yes, UQ, you have to confirm you're still there. It fades the screen out with a white overlay a little bit, and it has a little button with "Are you still there?" Yes, and it has a little bed there, like "Are you asleep?" or something.
There we go.
Yeah, don't click.
Sorry about that,
putting into
Dennis.
passionate response too.
Am I here? Am I
yeah,
back?
you're here.
I had to hit reload on my browser. I should have done that quicker. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Sorry about that.
No. It must have just detected that I hadn't touched the mouse long enough. And
there's
no
a little
matter
thing.
what with G Plus, after a few hours, it'll ask you if you're there, even if you have mouse, keyboard, voice input. So you just have to click the little button, and you'll be good. If you don't click it just drops you like a jerk.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's what happened because I had it on another tab. But so, I don't know where I dropped. But the whole idea of this inverse, this perceptual threshold by consumers is starting to happen right now, and it's coming down to, what is going to be successful in the future, and it's going to come down to the games. It's all going to be about the games. And these consumer hardware platforms are going to become more and more ubiquitous, and whether it's this platform or that platform or whatever it's going to be, it's really going to be a bright future for everyone, consumers and gamers, when there is just one platform that's ubiquitous. And believe it or not, when I did that talk in 2007. People really didn't like what I had to say. They responded very, very negatively to it. Oh yeah. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I did a talk a year later on cloud computing. How I thought that was going to be the one console future. But when I did that one console future talk, people actually started saying, "We think he's lost it," and I'm like, "Really?" But so I wholeheartly agree with everything you said there earlier, and I'm so excited that someone else agrees. And who knows when that's going to happen, but I think it is inevitable.
Yeah, the problem is forward thinking.
Exactly.
A lot of times when it's too forward, people don't embrace it.
We were 2 or 3 steps ahead of the game, and people were still stuck in the current paradigm in their thinking.
Yeah, they're not going to embrace it, and in some cases they're going to attack you. And I think that was actually the case in that particular instance. People they couldn't get their head wrapped around it because it was too new or too outside of their comfort zone. And now that it's starting to happen, you're starting to become right in that area. So.
Can you remember that time?
Exactly.
Well, I certainly, I would never want to say, I'm not trying to say, I told you so or anything like that.
I was just thinking.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, I was
No.
saying that I had to.
Hey, I've learned a lot of lessons over the years, and I'm really want to say, if anything, regardless of what happened in the past, or what we're looking at now is a bright future. And for all the people who have concerns about what we're doing right now, what I would say is look at the potential of the 3 things we're doing. We've got the crowdfunding that really does allow us to incorporate the community, which is the second pillar. And then we've got the episodic content that allows us to roll things out gradually, so you're not going to get this, 50-hour plop of game that maybe the first couple hours are great and then everything else is kind of like,
why they bother?
It's repeated. Like you're going back and you're doing fetch quests or whatever. Yeah, it sucks.
Or they pack all the interesting new game mechanics into the first little bits of the game, and it's kind of gimmicky, and then they never really come back to it or something like that.
How I want to name a game right now.
So do I.
Well, let's not. But
Let's not.
Imagine for a second the potential of the first episode comes out, and we want to put, say we're going to budget, 50 Sanity events, and we have a community that's over 5,000 strong that are contributing Sanity effects. Do you guys think we're going to have something original in there? I do.
Uh-huh.
I agree.
That's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm excited about.
And, I mean, the model isn't for everyone. I mean, not everyone's going to get behind episodic. Some people like their 50-hour plus huge productions that cost $100 million to make, but it's in this particular model, it's not what we're aiming for. We're shooting for the community interaction, and we need to do it in episodic because we can't interact with them very well if our first episode, as you will, is 50 hours long.
And
it just doesn't work.
If I may say something for a moment, there are a lot of people when they hear episodic or something like that, they immediately get like a cringe and they're like, oh god, this is just gonna be a little bit of content for such and such price, and then I have to wait for more whenever that comes out. What would you say to those people to put their minds at rest?
Well, what I would say is that I understand the feeling that getting an episode that's 2 to 4 hours long is a big tease. Like, you feel like you got kind of gypped. Like, you spent some money, maybe $5, you donated $5 and you just got the first episode, or maybe you were a $100 donation. You've got to realize, though, that even though you were teased, the game isn't over. And also, not isn't the game also not over, you can continue to keep playing the first episode, but in a different way. You can continue to keep playing through interactions in the order, by contributing to episode 2 or episode 3.
Do you think they'll Oh, sorry.
And just let me add one more thing. And we don't know how this is going to go. But depending on how well the crowdfunding goes, so some crowdfunding things have raised a ton of money, and I don't know how much we're going to raise. But if we were to raise enough to do 3 or 4 chapters, then what we would do is make sure they are spaced out in a reasonable fashion, and we'll continue after Kickstarter's done to keep our PayPal funding going. And if you look at Chris Roberts' Star Citizen, they've raised a ton of money from that, and we could potentially fund the whole season that way if it gets popular enough, and then make sure we release episodes about a month apart. So there's all kinds of potential, and not necessarily too much waiting. It's all going to depend on how it goes, quite frankly.
Okay. A lot of people, I actually have 2 things to say about that. It keeps being called episodic. A lot of people on the forums thought it'd be a better idea to call them chapters instead of episodes. Have you seen that post yet?
Yep, we're thinking about changing it.
I was wondering if you heard anything about that. The other thing I was going to say was, a lot of people much rather have hands-on with something before they are like, okay, I'm gonna drop my money into this and everything. Now, I know when it's an episodic thing, a demo's not really something that's plausible, but is there any idea for how to take care or, like, put those people's fear to rest? You know, the ones that are like, I'd rather see more, I'd rather have more of a feeling, that sort of thing, of how this is gonna go?
I don't think you can necessarily, and a shout out to Kamares, I see him in chat, woohoo. But also, I don't think you can really address that issue very well with the way that the game is designed.
Well, but at one level, but when the game is done, it's $5 an episode.
Yeah, well, that, $5 an episode.
So it's $5, and I don't think that's too high of a price to ask for.
Not at all.
So. And what the interesting thing, here's another interesting thing about cloud computing, by the way, and when we're going all to the clouds, there is some point when what's really interesting about that technology is that you don't have to create demos anymore. You can just put the game out there. You can let someone play for like a half an hour, and it's not even the demo, it's the real game.
Exactly.
And that can happen, but that technology is not here yet. But that's another reason why I think that's such a bright future. But for us, I think for those people, the best I could say is, wait till it's out. It'll be $5 per episode, and hopefully you'll like what you see.
If that cloud gaming ever came about that you speak of and everything, the clouds and whatnot, do you think you would ever do something like that?
I think everyone will. Everyone will. I think everyone will. It'll be easy to do. There'll be almost no effort at all. So I think everyone would do that. It's kind of like a free cable weekend, when you can get, HBO for free for the weekend.
It's
That's
making
exactly
me think
what
of,
it'd be like.
Shareware, like what they used to have, you can play so much of this first episode thing, like they did with Doom back in the day.
Yep.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
I hated that dark room where the creatures just beat the hell out of you till you died, no matter what.
Also, a lot of people like to pay for betas. That's a thing right now.
Yeah.
I don't think $5 is unreasonable to get the first episode to see if you like it.
Oh, definitely not.
And also, I don't think that it's impossible to have like a free weekend or something like that on Steam, because they do it all the time with other games. So, you could let people play episode 1 and get them excited about the following episodes. I mean, I'm not saying that's a thing that we're going to do. It probably is. I don't know.
That was a thing that was actually done with a popular episodic title, The Walking Dead. I remember Microsoft put out episode 1 for free for like a week so people could see what it was and what it was like. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also,